What's up, everybody? This is the AzuAntiCheat video that you've all been waiting for. I'm going to go very fast. You can either keep up with me, pause the video, do whatever you want to do. But this is AzuAntiCheat quick setup, okay? One that's not 20 minutes long is we're going to use R2modmans for the sake of speed, but technically this can all be installed manually as well. So first things first, download the AzuAntiCheat. Make sure you have BepInEx installed in order for all of this to work. R2modman will install that for you because I have it listed as a dependency on the AzuAntiCheat. BepInEx is a mod loader. It is required for pretty much every single mod that you're going to find. Using R2modman, I'm going to go to Settings, Browse Profile Folder, go to BepInEx, Plugins. So plugins is every single plugin that you want loaded. Patchers is going to be used for things like Jotun for hook gen patcher. Make sure it's in the patchers folder, not the plugins folder. Good helpful hint there. Everything that you want to load is going to be in plugins. Anything that is listed as a DLL here will load. Okay, so if it's in plugins, it doesn't matter if it's in a subfolder, doesn't matter where it's at, unless the mod specifically needs to be in a specific structure that the mod recognizes. Okay, most mods, as long as it's in the plugin folder, it's fine. So when you install the AzuAntiCheat, it's going to be in BepInEx plugins. Most likely, if you're using R2, it'll say Azumat AzuAntiCheat, or if you're installing it manually, you can name it whatever you want. It doesn't matter. You're going to notice this issue resolvers zip file. This is if you are having issues at all loading the mod on your server or on your client for whatever reason. Keep in mind, if the mod does not load on the client but does load successfully on the server, it will kick you. Saying that you need the AzuAntiCheat. Okay, so if they're having any issues, just unzip this file, put it right alongside this DLL in here, and you should be fine. Okay, so the folder that we're going to be looking for is also going to be in BepInEx plugins here in a minute. The configuration files will be found in BepInEx config. Okay, makes sense, right? Yep, AzuAntiCheat.config is already here because I've loaded it at least once before. Keep in mind, what we need to do now is actually load the AzuAntiCheat. We need to load the game. Okay, so I'm going to skip ahead. I'm going to get to the main menu. All right. One helpful thing that I should note is I did click Start Modded in R2. I did not click Start Vanilla. All right, now that we're at the main menu, this is the point where all of our mods have loaded. I have quite a few mods. I have Valheim Plus because this is my testing folder. But you can quit the game at this point. It doesn't matter. You can go back to Settings, Browse Profile folder, or if you're like me and you still have it open, you can just go right back to your BepInEx folder. Okay, so go back to Plugins. You should have a new folder called AzuAntiCheat. We're going to open this up and look at it. You should have two files. These files get updated every time you launch the game and every time you hit the main menu. Okay, this will be every single BepInEx name, internal name for your mods, and the DLL names as they are listed in your folder. Keep in mind, this is only going to grab the ones that need to be loaded. Okay, so what that means is we're going to go here. We have these two files, but we need to make sure that this is installed on our server as well. It is a server and client-side mod. I have the DLL here. I might as well take all the other files as well. So I'm going to Control-C this. I've already FTP'd into my server. This is BepInEx plugins folder, basically in the same layout as what we've seen before. I'm just going to paste this in here. Okay. That is now loaded on the server. I'm going to boot up my server, and I'm going to show you what some of the server files look like. This is going to be in the BepInEx config folder. Okay, skipping ahead. All right, so since I'm already FTP'd in, keep this in mind. My files appear to not have generated. Okay, but I'm going to click this little refresh button. Most FTP clients have that. I click refresh. As you can see, I have a gray list, a moderator list, a webhook, and a whitelist of DLL's text. Okay, these are all going to be prefixed with AAC underscore. This is indicating that it's AzuAntiCheat underscore gray list, moderator list, whitelist. So the files that generated on our client, I'm going to jump back to that folder. Okay, this is client side. In the AzuAntiCheat folder, you should have two files, my BepIn names and my DLL names. So we need the contents of these files for our whitelist and our gray list. Okay, keep in mind that it is an and. You must have both on the lists, depending on what you want to do. The whitelist enforces things, to the client. They must have anything that is listed there. All right? Any misspellings or anything like that, if you're typing it manually, it can cause issues. Just copy paste, okay? The whole process is copy paste. As you can see, I have 21 lines. I have a blank line here. I don't want the blank line because I don't want to say, hey, I want these mods to be enforced and it be a blank mod. You know, they can't have a blank mod installed. So this is the myBepin names file. I'm going to jump back to my server and go back to the whitelist. So everything that's on mine, I would happen to like to enforce this. A freshly generated file has instructions at the top. Please read them. They're very helpful. It does come with preset mods. Okay, these are recommended whitelist mods, or most commonly used. Ignore them if you want to. Hit Control A and Control V. We have just pasted everything into our file. There are no blank lines. We can save this. Okay, keep this file open. What we're going to do now is jump back to client side, go and grab the DLL names. All right, DLL names are here. This also has a blank line in it. Do not copy that. Copy everything else. We are going to go back to the file that we had, which is my whitelisted DLLs file, and we're going to jump down and we're going to say paste. Notice that there are just no blank lines. All right, we have 40 fully filled lines, and I just pasted it right after. You can alphabetize this. They can be in whatever order you want, however you want to put it. Just, it's easier to do it copy paste. Okay, if there are admin mods here, I recommend deleting them. You know, I don't particularly recommend whitelisting map teleport. That allows anyone to teleport across the map. So you would delete this, and you would also find the DLL name, which is mapteleport.dll in this case, and delete it. Keep in mind, whitelist is enforcing on the client. Okay, so we're done. Everything's done. If I only want to enforce these mods, I'm done. Aside from, now, do I want moderators? You would add their Steam IDs, just like the admin.txt in the vanilla game. You would add their Steam IDs here. It says put moderator Steam IDs in this file. Works just like the admin list.txt. I try and make this as intuitive as possible and easy as possible. That does come with certain drawbacks, but the gray list is effectively the same thing as the whitelist. You put your BepInEx names here and your DLL names here for any mod that you want to be optional. Okay, this is not the whitelist. It is in the same format, but the whitelist enforces, the gray list is optional. Can't stress that enough. All right, DLL names and BepInEx names go there. You can take them from the whitelist and move them to the gray list, however you want to do it. Right. So the big thing that I want to show you how to set up is this AzuAntiCheat webhook.txt. This is your log to Discord. This is fancy, right? So we are going to reload this file. As you can see, it says replace all text in this file with your Discord webhooks. Notice, replace all text in this file with your Discord webhooks. Feel free to use the AzuAntiCheat multiverse webhook that's already contained in this file, which is right here. Okay? Now, in order to create a webhook, we have a server, let's say. I'm going to go to my AzuAntiCheat mod hub, whatever. You're going to right-click on your server. Server settings, integrations. This is Discord. We're going to go to View Webhooks. As you can see, I've already got a few. But for sake of argument, I'm going to create a brand new one. And I'm going to call it, you know, the Spidey bot, whatever's default. And I'm going to say, sure, log it here. Okay? Copy webhook URL. Your button's right there. I'm going to delete this webhook just because I don't need it. But for sake of purposes, I'm going to jump back to my webhook file. I'm going to hit Control A, Control V. It literally highlighted everything in the file, and it pasted only my webhook in the file. As you can see, it's the only line. It says line 1. Make sure that there is no blank lines in this file. Some editors will have blank lines in this file, and it'll append it without your knowledge. Just double check. Send it to me if you need help. But I use Notepad++. It works pretty much every time. It supports UTF-8. It's all good. So, right here, this is my webhook. That means it is going to output to this webhook to Discord. All right, I'm going to show an example of something that is considered to be a cheat. All right, this is my test server logs. I'm not going to show anyone's information but my own. So I'm going to scroll through here, and it might take me a second. But here we go. Here's a little bit of output. So this is the AzuAntiCheat. This was version 1.4.1 in this particular case, but it displays the player's name, their Steam information, additional information. It says the server name, the player world, what DLLs they're using. In Discord, it will tell you only certain information. If they are missing DLLs, okay? If they are missing DLLs, only they can find that on their client. They can find that on their client by going to their BepInEx folder, and there should be a log output.log file, which I will zoom in and make super big. It's log output.log file here, okay? This will tell you anything and everything you need to know. Feel free to jump into the Odin Plus Discord if you have no clue what you're looking at and what you're talking about. But now I will fast forward, but I'm going to connect to the server. I've got my whitelist set up. I've got everything copied and pasted, and I should be able to connect no problems. Admins bypass everything that's on the whitelist. They can have additional mods. All right, so I'm going to skip ahead, and let's see how much more talking I can do in like 2 minutes. All right, so skipped ahead. Look at this. I'm on my server. No problems. All right. So now, if I was to do God mode or anything like that, I happen to not be an admin, so this should kick me. So we're just going to say God. And as you can see, my Discord webhook just outputted that. It says kicked for trying to use a cheat via the chat. Okay. So that's what a client would typically see. Sometimes it will close their game depending on the severity of the cheat. This just happened to be a cheat logged to chat. So I'm going to jump straight to my Discord here. As we can see, nothing output because I used a broken Discord webhook, right? But my AzuAntiCheat mod hub actually has this. This lets me know anything that's going on in particular people's servers, like a few others, right? Here is exactly what just happened on my server, okay? So anyway, if your webhook.txt was set up, that would be the output that you would see. Whitelisted DLLs is right here. Moderator list, of course, is kind of self-explanatory. Gray list is the same thing as the whitelist. You need BepIn names, you need DLL names, but it is optional mods. Feel free to move it around and test, do whatever you need to do, okay? As you can see, I just got kicked for cheating. This will kick people for missing mods. This will kick people for mods that you didn't whitelist. You will find all of that in your log output.log. And as you can see, I can go through here and I can scroll through my file. I can see all of the issues and errors. And right here we see this ZNet shutdown. ZNet shutdown is because the game closed on me. As we can see, we have a couple errors here. Nothing related to the anti-cheat or anything like that. We connected just fine via the client side. All right. Same thing can be said on the server. On the server, there is more logs. I will very quickly show you that. Open this up here. Open up Notepad. And we'll scroll through this. So as we can see, on the server, we have the AzuAntiCheat requesting AzuAntiCheat bypass, loaded player DLLs. Here's my Steam ID and all of my DLLs that loaded. Right here is every single BepIn name, as we can see, every single BepIn name that loaded. And we can see that I loaded in successfully. Right on this exact line here, if it said something of I was disconnected for any reason, it will tell me missing DLLs. It'll tell me non-whitelisted DLLs. The server admin should have access to all this information and be able to see all of that, okay? They will know why you got kicked. Also, there is a fancy little box that will display that will hopefully tell you why you got kicked if you are the client. If you have any questions, reach out to me, but this is about as fast as I can do this video from start to finish. I'll shut up now and see you guys later.